This week on Chicago Beer Pass, Nick and I are kicking off 2020 as we drink some Lil Beaver Space Crystals. And we talk about some of our first stops in the new year, including Old Irving, on Tour District Brew Yards, Three Floyds. And then we dive into some of the beer news that's kicking off the new year. All that and more on this week's episode. Here we are, hitting up events, drinking our way through Chicago beer, and trying not to miss a thing.
Yeah, because, the cork popped out, boom, it flies like fucking 10 feet. We're like, yeah, let's do it.
All you have to do is add some fruit, stir it up, and ride that milkshake wave.
Whenever I see him, I gotta take a photo with the most decorated brewer in Chicago, Jonathan Cutler. It'll be like the stuff you hear. Every time you go to Floyd's, all the music sounds like this. Raw, raw, raw.
Sometimes you want a small beer, but really, you want a big beer.
You gotta take in all those big aromatic hops.
Hey, what are you doing this weekend? Waiting in line for a bottle release?
You should have never been a fad. The black IPA is delicious.
Hey, and welcome to the first Chicago Beer Pass of 2020. I'm Brad Chmielewski.
What's up, man? I'm Nick White.
Yeah, feels good.
Yeah.
Feels good to be back.
Oh, yeah, man. First one of the new year.
I know.
When do we stop saying Happy New Year?
I think you got like a month, right?
Okay.
I think like a month's safe to.
That's cool. Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year. After that, everyone's like, yeah, man,
Yeah.
get off that shit.
Leave me alone with the New Year. What do you want?
The last episode with Chet Brett to close out
Yeah.
the year was a lot of fun.
That was a good one. I like seeing Chet. Chet brought a ton of, Hailstorm beer.
Yeah, we still have some, so we'll probably do some videos of a couple other ones too.
Yeah, it's good to follow him. So Hailstorm.
How can you not follow him? Like he's you can't miss
every
him.
bit of like 6'10". Yeah. Yeah, but he's a guy that's seen a lot. And, we got to dive into a little bit about, just the state of Illinois.
Yeah.
And really, talk about, the experience of casual craft beer drinkers and even, macro drinkers. Because, him being with the guild, it's like, education is a huge piece of what they're all about.
Right.
And we forget that most people don't drink the beers we drink every single week.
I know. And speaking of beers we don't drink, we got one that we have never had a beer from Lil Beaver on the podcast before.
I didn't even know they were in cans, man.
So this is their triple dry hopped IPA.
Double hops was not enough, Brad.
Space Crystals. And
Yeah.
this is a tough label to read, but
Yeah, CSE. Hazy Dipper, triple dry hop, like Brad said. So we got a little Citra, Simcoe, and Equinox.
they're down, brewing out of the college in
What?
Bloomington.
Oh,
Yeah, right? Isn't that Bloomington normal? Isn't that
I think so. What school's down there?
University? of-
Ill State. I think it's
Yeah.
Illinois State. I think it's down
Drove down there many a times to party.
there. Really?
I had a buddy that went there, so it was a good time. But the Little Beaver's kind of known for their big stouts, or they were at Fobab, what, 3 years ago, 2 years ago now?
You're thinking of, I think that was Goose Stout Fest, I think, right?
Oh, that's
They
right.
claimed they were like the darling of Goose Stout Fest. Their logo is kind of hard to miss. It's a gigantic beaver holding a tulip glass.
And it's on the side of this cool little truck we had a picture of from
Oak Park.
Oak Park,
Yeah.
Vancouver, yeah. I don't know. This is nice. Canned in October, so a couple months old, but it's still tasting. That's why it's triple. You can get away with a little extra shelf life on that.
Yeah, your standard citrus and passion fruit notes in there, but it's well done. What is this?
It's got to be like 7-8%, right? Doesn't even say. It feels like it should have to say if it went to stores, right? That's
Patty Young label art. Support your local beaver.
maybe it's only 2%, like $4.50 or something.
You just get, instead of just owning up and saying, "Hey, man, we didn't think you would catch it." They just said, "Man, we didn't know that if we added fruit, it would change. We didn't know that. How are we supposed to know? All we do is
We just make beer.
That's all we do."
Yeah. No, this has got to be kind of high. Triple dry hop.
Well, triple dry hopped, an IPA. So double IPA.
So double IPA that's triple dry hop. That's a lot. It's a lot.
There's
of
a lot
hop.
going on. Yeah. So you have to assume it's somewhere between 7 and 9%.
Yeah. I would say even 6 on the low side, but 9 on the top.
Yeah.
It's good. It might kick our ass. We'll know here in like 20 minutes. Oh yeah, that was 9%.
Like definitely not 6.
Cool. And I'm rocking this new Half Acre hat.
Very cool.
New unofficial sponsor hat.
Sharp.
So got an orange hat with our orange.
Oh yeah, it's orange and black. I just noticed that was the official color scheme at the Loose Key Studio, man.
Man, how's the new year of drinking been so far?
Pretty good, man. I made my way to an old standby. I need to post some pictures. I went to Three Floyds, Munster, Illinois. Munster, Indiana. Hello.
Yeah.
I went down there. Yeah.
Illinois should just take it.
It's a de facto. I remember watching that show with the guys from Brewdog, and they came to Chicago. They were at Revolution. They're like top 5 Chicago breweries, and number 1 was like Three Floyds. And I'm like, yeah, top 5, huh?
Yeah.
It's literally not in the state, but it may as well be.
I guess, but if you're an Illinois brewer, you'd kind of be pissed that they get roped in sometimes. It's like, well, they're making great beer, but they're not.
They might all live in Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not paying those Illinois taxes.
Right.
For having the brewery here. But you made it out there because you're always out that way.
Yeah. I'm from out that way. I go see my peoples out that way. So.
How was it? How was it? Busy?
Yeah, it was bar action for me at this place. It was cool. I'd say maybe half full, something like that. What caught my attention was Alpha Kong. I saw something for Alpha Kong.
Oh yeah.
And something for Barrel Aged Behemoth. And Floyd's, man, they come out with new beers, but they're standbys that have been there from day one. Have kind of just always been there. Alpha Kong, I remember being like this huge Belgian sextuple, I think they called it.
That's right. Okay.
Came in Bombers, and I remember having one solo at Twisted Spoke, and it was one of the worst ideas ever. I'm just sitting at the bar because it was the last one. Sitting at the bar, 32 bucks.
Oh, like the whole bottle.
The whole bottle. I couldn't finish it. I'm just like, dude, this was a bad idea. But that's the last time I saw this beer.
Yeah.
So when I heard about it, I'm like, oh.
Was it on draft or did you have to do?
Yeah, it was on
Bomber.
Draft. It was on draft. It was but it was weird. It was not. Cause all right, a Belgian triple is like we were saying 9 to 10%. That's a Belgian triple.
Yeah.
So this is a sex. So this last one, I remember it being clearly like 16, 18%.
Right.
This wasn't that. This was like 10.5.
Okay.
But they still called it the sextuple or whatever.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, it's different, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe they got better at it, or maybe they were able to like rein it in because someone 16%. Sees 16%.
That's the first thing they're going for in some cases.
Or not, or it turns people off too.
Or that, or do the opposite.
But you drive out there, you can't be serving up 16% beer just willy nilly.
That's true. That's very true.
With your distillery right there too. I just had one beer and
you're not gonna make it to the highway. You're doing all that shit. They had what I will give them credit for, and I thought about this when I was there, is like Alpha Claus is the precursor to the Black IPA. It's their Christmas beer, but it's so hoppy. It's a big hoppy Christmas porter. And then Apocalypse Cow, which is the most bizarre artwork. It's like some cow with a cyclops cow.
Okay.
With like this Rembrandt style with like, I think he's got a nose ring. Oh, but it's a double IPA with lactose. So it's really the precursor to this milkshake IPA craze. And those beers have been around like for years. I'm saying at least 5 years.
Okay.
At least 5 to 6 years. So it didn't dawn on me that they were kind of ahead of their time with those two beers in particular.
If I had to pick a Three Floyds beer that I think I don't know, like changed or like had a biggest impact on me, would be Moloko.
Oh, the milk stout.
Like that beer was just like so delicious. It like I chased that beer when it came out. Like I would have to get it. So I feel like that beer had like the biggest impact. Although Gumball Head and Zombie Dust are like great beers, but Moloko was like one that like I don't know changed my worldview a bit.
Dust, man, for it to just be it was a Citra hop.
What, the Space Dust or
no
just
Zombie Dust?
Oh, Zombie Dust.
It's just
Space Dust is
Legion.
It's Half Acre's beer. Oh.
They have a beer called Space, Half Acre Dust.
And someone else has Space Dust?
Yeah, Legion has an IPA called Space Dust. It's just for that to be a single hop Citra
Pale ale, yeah.
It People went nuts over that beer.
Yeah.
I think I asked for like what do you want for your birthday? I'm like, I want 2 cases of zombie dust. Yeah. And it was just me. I'm like, I'm just a bachelor with like 24 bottles of zombie dust in the fridge, man. Oh, but I was trying to look up these descriptions. So they had Alpha Kong, which I was going for. Something called Alpha Knot. The Alpha Con, and the Alpha Kong.
Oh man, that's a cool little lineup.
Right, and then they had the gin barrel aged Apocalypse Cow. So this is a lactose double IPA aged in gin barrels.
Okay.
And they dry hopped it after it came out the barrels.
Damn.
So this is some wacky shit, man. So I don't even know where to start. Let's start with the barrel aged Apocalypse Cow. A gin. I can't name 3 gin barrel aged IPAs. Right, like you don't typically see gin IPAs. I mean,
I bet. Off color. Oh, they don't have an IPA.
right.
They got a gin barrel something. Yeah.
The guys at Peckish Pit hooked up with, who was it? A Few Spirits, and they made an IPA modeled. They made an IPA with the ingredients from Few's gin.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, but see, they it's an Imperial lactose and old time gin barrels.
Okay.
Yeah. This was weird, man. Like,
in a good way, or
it was in a good way because it was like the gin. It definitely had like the piney botanical notes and a lot of booze and in the aroma.
Okay. Yeah.
But then like the gin, you don't really taste. It just kind of plays.
It's so floral and like
It's floral.
With the IPA, I feel like that does work. It should work well together.
Exactly. It kind of magnifies what the double IPA already is.
Yeah.
Right. But it wasn't necessarily overly ginny. It actually kind of works. Yeah. It was so weird. Just saying it out loud was kind of weird to me.
Like it.
Alpha Clause, we talked about that.
Now, what's this Alpha Knot?
Alpha Knot is an unholy alliance between Alpha King, their flagship pale, and Dreadnought, their double IPA. Yeah. So it's a double dry hop, strong pale. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So that was fun.
Not as I thought. It'd be exciting, or like as I was like,
You're like,
it's a white chocolate alpha.
And then there was something called Alpha Con. Oh, which was a pale ale.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was a pale ale with 3 teas from the Rare Tea Company.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, so
That's fun that they're like playing off the alpha series, especially with the holidays.
yeah,
there.
Alpha King. I think for the longest time it would rotate. Their top selling beer would either be Gumball Head or Alpha King. Yeah. In fact, when you go there, Alpha King is the statue out front.
Right.
Yeah. And on the other side is a Calumet Queen. It's like the same statue, but it's different when you look on the other side of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So made us start the Three Floyds, man.
That's cool. I haven't been since Dark Lord Day, and I know you and Shalonda were talking about that on her new podcast, talking about Dark Lord Day as
this
like
chick talks beer. Y'all was standing next to you. Well, I had my goblet from medieval times. We did a beer. There was a beer fest in medieval times. I got the goblet, and this is Shalonda's first Dark Lord Day, so all bets are off. And sure enough, man, I look over, my brambles on the ground.
And I don't know. Dark Lord Day is crazy. It was awesome to see it. Like I hadn't been in years, so it was cool to see. And I remember videotaping some guys shotgunning Natty Light and not having had the Natty. There was like, and I was like, what are you guys doing? Like so confused. Like
This was the summer. We didn't know. I didn't know either. I didn't know Natty Light was a thing. And then there's like the strawberry Natter Days. It might have been Natter Days.
It might have been Natter. There were shotgunning Natter Days.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know what's happening. Like, what is this? Like,
Felt like an old man.
I was over here drinking my Penrose. Like, what you guys doing?
Yeah. But I hadn't been in a while, so
Yeah.
it was cool.
I
man.
need to make it out there again, and like just I don't want to be like I only go to Three Floyds on Dark Lord Day kind of thing, but it just kind of happens sometimes. Like, oh, it's already time. We're like 3 months away from Dark Lord Day.
Shit.
Isn't it end of March, or they pushed it back a little bit? Beginning of April.
Yeah, it used to be the last Saturday in April for the longest time.
Okay.
And I say maybe the last 2-3 years. Now it's more in line with Chicago, Illinois Craft Beer Week. So like May.
May.
I think it was Mother's Day weekend.
Okay, so we still got some time.
We got a little time.
Yeah.
It's coming though. I think tickets going to sale pretty soon. Like around St. Patty's Day.
They usually came out. They went on sale. I always remember during the Craft Brewers Conference, and so oftentimes would have been away or like, oh no.
A lot of times in the past, you'd have to choose because if you're at Stout, it would go down at Stout Fest. Stout Fest was always on the same
Goose
weekend.
Island Stout Fest.
Yeah, that was their Irish. That was their St. Patty's Day party.
That's right.
So I remember at least 2-3 times being at Goose. Like, fuck. I hope my Wi-Fi's good because I got to get Dark Day tickets.
Nice. And I know you talked about it on
fun.
her podcast, but you guys went to Peace. Did you get some festival? Was it still on?
No.
It was already gone?
No.
Oh,
last time we talked about Peace because that was a tradition.
But you didn't go.
I didn't go this year.
Oh,
Last time I went to Peace was January 1st, 2018.
So you guys broke the tradition that you didn't do Brewers Eve and didn't do Peace.
And sat at the crib and did a whole lot of nothing.
Oh, okay.
Cellar raid.
All
We should say that, cellar raid.
Celebrate.
Yeah. But I think the coolest part about that was like I forgot about that Girls Pint Out era in Chicago, and that was a big deal because this was like when pints and petties was like a new thing.
Yeah.
But then we met the Festival girls, Festival women there, and Festival is one of these parties where we didn't really talk about what made it special when we were on her pod, but it was like, it was always a Friday night party that was in September, and guys would wear tuxedos sometimes. A lot of guys, it was like guys would wear suits.
Yeah.
And there were like a ton of women. It was a fundraiser for the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. Yeah. But it was just unusually well-dressed beer festival.
Yeah.
Right?
I remember the first time I went, I was like, I am underdressed, and I didn't know that I should have been dressed up, sort of thing.
Like, it felt like I was almost like at a, whatever's below a ball. It wasn't quite ball status. It wasn't formal wear, but I'm like, man, the boys and the girls are looking good up in
But
this
it was
joint.
like high school formal, kind of.
It was, yeah. It was a different, and then like, I don't know, midnight rolls around or whatever, and then like a whole sea of like White Castle burgers come out of nowhere. Like,
And then that reminds you, oh yeah, this is Chicago, and no matter how formal a place it seems, no one will judge you for what you're wearing, or no one really cares. You're gonna get served, and someone's gonna be drinking High Life and eating White Castle at the same time. You're like, oh, all right.
Our guy Bob McDermott from the Beer Bistro he was a big. All the planning meetings, committee meetings were at Beer Bistro, and then it was what was it? The steakhouse around the corner from him. Not Sullivan Steakhouse.
It started with C.
Carmichael. It was Carmichael Steakhouse. Carmichael's Steakhouse had like this. I don't know what it was. I guess it was their event center, but it wasn't really.
The event space was.
Oh, that was their event space?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, it was the Carmichael Steakhouse event space in West Loop. And then that place isn't there anymore because they turned it into like condos or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, Carmichael's was like, we got the space, but we don't need storage, and we'll make more money if we just overprice some condos.
Yeah.
So, but that was a fun era. I said all that to say. That was a fun era.
I would love. We gotta have Heather on and just talk about some of the stuff because she's still doing stuff in beer.
Yeah.
I'm concerned that a lot of stuff that's gonna get written and talked about this year in beer is going to be like, hey, what happened previously and what's this new decade looking like? I don't want us to always do that either. Like, we've seen a lot, but we've got to move forward, right?
That's true. I think
it's going to be hard for a lot of people just to be like, who've been documenting this like you and I have and Shalonda, and just like, you want to reminisce about these times, but it's like, oh, I don't know, there's new beer. It moves forward, right? Like, it's so weird.
I don't know.
Like, it's just like, well, I guess this is it now. Like,
I mean, it's tough, man. It is tough. It's tough to pull away from that stuff. Yeah. That's what I was excited about New Year's Eve, because I just sat at home.
Yeah, so you did something different, which is fun. Like, traditions are great, but it's good to always sometimes break them.
I think I went through my phone and just fired off a bunch of old pics, fired off a bunch of old memories, I think.
Nice.
On some close of the decade shit, because that kind of dawned on me that week. Like,
Yeah,
man, it's the end of the year, but it's the end of the decade. Heather Kundert, Aaron Kearns, Sarah McLean. Cheers to them, because those were fun times.
Nice. what I do this past week, I right before the new year went to Old Irving.
Right on.
I didn't get Beezer.
They had a double Beezer, I saw.
Oh, they did. They didn't have that when I was there. I forget what I had. I posted a picture of it. It's always everything's good over there. Like it's like going to Alarmist where it's like I should get the juice, but everything else is really good too. And so,
dude, I sleep on there's like 4 or 5 beers over there, and then the cask at Alarmist too. Mm-hmm. Always.
They had some of the Krampus on, but it was like lunchtime, so I skipped that.
Okay.
But
I hear it's great. I had it a couple years ago, and I was like, "This is cool," but I hear it's really good.
Yeah, and there was like what, not the hop review, Zoller Sports Drinking.
Yeah.
They did like a whole little tasting of it, which was good, cool to see. And then I made it over to Old Irving. Or not Old Irving. I said Old
I'm
Irving.
like, you were just at Old Irving.
On tour. I was going to all the O's. We should just do like, all right, this week is a brewery. But yeah, I was on tour. That place was hopping it was a Saturday kind of evening around 5 o'clock. Stopped in there for a couple beers. They had a tour going on. I overheard them talking about a possible another space they want to open.
I think
They were talking to somebody and just kind of like, yeah, we're looking. And someone's like, oh, have you thought about Wicker Park? It's like, hey, dummy, this is like Wicker. This is adjacent.
you
like,
could
why
walk,
would
you could walk to Wicker Park.
why would they open another spot in Wicker Park?
Yeah, you want a different experience. I mean, looking back on, we were talking about those questions last week on like the end of the year and decade questions, and the real answer to like the most under the radar brewery, the last 10 years might be On Tour, right?
Yeah.
Because they had a chance. I think the rumor was because they won Very Small Brewer of the Year in their first year,
That's right.
2017, and they took a gold and a bronze, for like their Maibach and I want to say maybe their Doppelbock, right?
Okay.
2 of their multi beers. Oh, but the rumor was had they taken silver or a gold with both beers, they would have been Brewery of the Year.
Oh, shit. Okay. All their beers are, a lot of them are just easy drinking. Just like, I almost put them in the same line as Haymarket, where they're just like working man beers.
Yeah.
But they have like, for whatever reason, they're like the young worker beers, like where Haymarket's like old school or feels old school in the vibe that they're doing, and then On Tour just feels like, hey, we're just like casual beers and just like you want to hang out here, like.
Yeah, and it's not exactly on. It's that feels like a residential block that they're on.
Well, isn't the R. Kelly studio like on
Is
that
that
block?
where it is? I don't know.
It's like
Is that
right
where it is?
around there. Yeah. They might be like next door or something. Yeah. It's like right there.
That's funny. I didn't know that.
And then I walked over to District Brew Yards.
Right on.
They had that. There was a new beer coming out from not around the bend, Burnt City. Mm-hmm. I could see the pallets of it sitting there. I think it came out this week. I ended up getting a beer from around the bend. I was by myself. This is Saturday night. Do not go to District Brew Yards by yourself.
It's popping in there.
It's like I felt creepy and also like this is just weird. I'm just by myself. Like
It's true because it's like it's a beer hall. It's a modern beer hall, but I guess there's no real bar for like if you're solo.
Right. So I was On Tour by myself, and being at a bar like that, you're fine by
Right.
yourself. But when you're at District Brew Yards by yourself, it's weird.
Yeah, you're kind of like in someone
At
else's.
night, like
yeah.
at night, in the daytime it might be fine, but at night you're just like, yeah, maybe they think I'm waiting for someone, like
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Not hear that. You almost gotta like just walk the joint.
Yeah, so I was like, I had one, and like I was only gonna go for one, and it's like a block from On Tour, but I was like, okay, I can't come here by myself. Like that makes me realize, like, oh, not having a bar, that is something that you will lose out on solo people. Like it's great for groups.
Tables, everything's like a table that sits 6 to 10 people, right?
Right, so I just like sat by the window kind of by myself. And I was like, oh, okay. And I looked around, you know, didn't see anybody, you know, didn't see Jerome or anybody like that there. So I was like, all right, have this one and like take off.
You're like, yeah, I'm just gonna have this beer, maybe go talk to the hostess. Like, hey, how's it going?
Hey, what's up? Can I get some cans? Like, do you know who I am?
And she's talking to you with a smile. She's got one hand on, like, you know, can of mace. Like, I don't know this creepy dude.
So yeah, that which is too bad. Like I was like, because I like I wanted to have more beers, but I was like, can't be drunk by myself.
I guess you could cruise because they have they have attendants at each station. It's in theory they're supposed to.
Yeah.
So I guess you could like yak it up with the each tenant.
Yeah, and I've seen some of those people before, but I don't like know them.
Yeah.
I haven't. So I was just like, yeah, all right.
That's a nice 1-2 step. I don't know what the best 1-2 step is in the city, like back-to-back breweries, but On Tour and District Brew Yards is first that comes to mind.
It's got to be Beguile and Dovetail, right? Like really.
If you're when you say it like that, it's got to be.
And then like Haymarket and Cruz
Haymarket
Blanca.
and Cruz Blanca. I think those are the three that I can think of.
And then you could do, I don't know, Goose and Great Central kind of thing.
You could
Do that sometimes.
Yeah. Those are the four.
That's it, yeah.
Those are the four that come to
Well,
mind.
soon Ravinia Maplewood.
That's on the list.
That's gonna be this. That could rival Dovetail, Beguile because one of them will have food.
Yeah, you know, and Metro and it's a bit of it's about a mile. I think Metro and
Rev
Kedzie. That's a good one. They're not exactly close though. It's nice. It's nice to think about.
Yeah. But those were my, I guess, first stops of the new year, which was not too bad. On Tour, Old Irving, and District Brew Yards.
On Tour's a good one. I can always get coffee there from some roaster that I don't know. I like On Tour a lot. That's a cool place.
Yeah, they got a lot of merch, and they just have like a good beer lineup. Like, there's always something that I'm like, oh, I'll try this, and I'm not disappointed by it, but I'm not like, you gotta have this beer. I think someone asked us about this on Peace or on Instagram recently, like about Peace, and they're like, you guys always talk about this. Like, I'm from the south suburbs. You joke about driving out there, and I'm like, don't make a trip to go for Peace beer. Like, it is great beer, but don't you're not expecting to be blown away. Like, it's good, and I feel like that's what's on tour is like, this is good, but don't go out of your way to go there.
Yeah.
But it's good. Like,
Unless
you
you're
won't be
making it.
disappointed when you have it.
Right.
But you won't leave being like, let me tell everyone, you got to have this beer.
You like it because it's a good hang.
Yeah.
It's located near other cool breweries. And then the combo of the beer and the space just make you happy. You're just happy that this is an option.
Right.
No wacky, over-the-top, trendy shit. Just good, clean, fucking classic styles.
All right.
Yeah.
Because if you're really making the drive from somewhere far and you went to On Tour, why wouldn't you go to Goose, right?
You gotta
You're
touch 'em all.
probably
Go to
Great Central,
and what's
Finch.
Clover Lounge. I just keep wanting to.
all right.
You can't go to Finch; they won't let you in.
Midwest Coast.
Yeah.
that
Get you some Top
Yeah.
Cat, not Top Cat. Sticky Cat. Damn, it's not Sticky Cat either. Cat.
Taco Cat.
Taco Cat.
All right, this beer's 9%. Yeah.
Yeah, shit's a little off the rails right now, man.
All right, so that was our start of the year. I feel
I
like.
mean, it's beer pass 2020, man.
All right, so what do we got coming up this week? We got a couple of events happening.
Indeed, we do. Let's talk about the big one, the Chicago Winter Ale Fest.
All right, this is a Ludog.
Ludog. Not New Year's Eve. Navy Pier, sorry.
Yeah, this beer's kicking our ass. I feel it.
100 beers at Navy Pier, man. In the ballroom. This is, the beer list came out today.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So, Ludog, he knows his way around a beer fest.
So this is in the ballroom. I remember when Beer Fest was in the ballroom. That was the only
It was just called Beer Fest?
Chicago beer fest, and it was called Beer Fest, basically like the movie. And we would
that movie's
we
a
would
trip.
go. First off, no one goes to Navy Pier. This was like 10 years ago.
Navy Pier overall is
But-
not
But
where
even
you wanna
10
be.
years at Navy Pier, there was
Yeah.
nothing there.
Yeah.
And then we would leave,
Beer fest.
and you could get a cab, but there was probably like 8 or 10 of us. So we would get a limo and leave Beer Fest from Navy Pier in the ballroom.
Damn.
And it was just like, and we would go to like small bar Fullerton. That was like a spot
Maybe
in our limo.
Navy Pier in a limo. I'm down for that. You're gonna get. He does a good job of bringing suburban breweries to the city.
Yeah.
So you're gonna get some Black Horizon, some City Lights, which I think is in Milwaukee, right? You're gonna get some. Of course, you'll get Dovetail and Fincher Forbidden Root, but you'll also get an Extra Strategy in Energy City,
Oh, cool.
right? Forbidden Root, Funk. Oh, get Funkworks,
Oh.
and then of course you'll get Goose and Rev. Oh, but yeah, you'll get 100 beers on the. You know, this probably is good. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. You know, it's gonna be Saturday. You want to drink? You want to be on Navy Pier?
If you're not in your dry January.
However long you think it's gonna take to get to Navy Pier, add another half hour to that because this is the end of this pier.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But cheers to Lou Dog, man. All he does is throw a good beer fest
Yeah.
all year long. I think when he came on the show, he's mentioned like a ridiculous number. I think we it was like 2 a month.
Yeah, I think he was like working towards that. He was like
Getting after it.
He was at 1 a month for sure. He's like, we're getting to 2 a month.
Yeah. That's a good retirement plan. I think he was like a banker or something.
Yeah, well, Naperville, the winter one should be coming up here soon.
Yeah.
Is that February? Maybe February.
Yeah.
I don't know. I get lost in like there's so many events. We talk about them all the time. It's like, did that already happen or is it about to happen?
Yeah. Cheers to the aforementioned Haymarket Pub and Brewery. Their birthday's coming up, man. This is birthday number 9 for Haymarket. So Sunday at 11 a.m., the birthday. And this also includes a little Clare's Thirsty Ale.
Nice. We were just there for my birthday.
That's right. We sure were. This was on a Sunday night.
Yeah, and you got Clare's.
Because Brad just casually mentions, like, yeah, man, they got Clare's. They have a cooler now.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, there's Clare's in the cooler. I'm like, what cooler? So I go check it out. I'm like, huh.
$11 a can.
Oh, man. I'm like, no wonder it's still here, man. $10 a can. Because if you go to Chmielewski and get a straight jacket, it's $10 a can on premise. $10 a can, I'm in. $11 a can.
Yeah.
Now I'm that guy making that sound, you know?
Do you think they dropped the price on last year's?
It's weird that last year's would be there because a couple years ago. Well, no, that was last year. Last year in cans. We had some on the show.
Yeah, because you pre-ordered some. And you ended up picking up some. So.
But I think they didn't make a lot this year. So usually Claire's is its own day, but then I think this is now it's just.
Well, they probably it's a great beer. They probably had too much of it. Like if they still had it a year later, they made too much, right? So I think scaling it back, making it more of an in-demand thing. It's got to be expensive beer. They're charging $11 for it. So.
Yeah, tons of raspberries. Raspberries ain't no joke. Raspberries are pricey. Just a little plastic cup of raspberries is like $6.
Yeah.
You know. Oh, what was I gonna say? Oh, a little fun fact about Claire's Thirsty Ale. The first time, it's always Claire's would win medals at FOBAB back when it was a rock bottom beer.
Yeah.
Right. But then the first time they packaged Claire's 2 years ago was in Bombers, and they didn't have a bottling line because Haymarket's got that. It's like a little 10-barrel system or whatever. So they bottled at Cruz Blanca right down the street.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah. So bottles 1 year and then cans last year.
Right. So they
Yeah.
can it up in Bridgman.
Yeah.
And then bring them down.
You know what I'm looking forward to is Indignant. And it looks like they're really into this barley wine now. Their barley wine was a big hit this year. They've got the non-barrel aged version, and then they choose these 4 different barrels to showcase it in. And it was aged a barrel in each year.
Okay.
Did I say that right?
A barrel each year.
Yeah. So they got 4 different versions, 4 different variants on the barley wine.
Okay.
And then each version is aged in a different whiskey barrel. Yeah.
Damn. Okay.
So, for all you whiskey nerds out there, Woodford Reserve, Dickel, Old Forester, and Four Roses. Old Forester is the oldest, the first ever whiskey that was bottled is an Old Forester. It's one of the oldest brands in the country. I didn't know that until recently.
Damn.
Yeah.
And then there's also some can releases over at Maplewood this coming up week. They have they're putting out a lot of cans lately. There's 2 beers coming out on Thursday. There's a milkshake and another one as well. So one of these days I'm going to make it over there for one of these releases. I feel like I need to go.
Maplewood?
Yeah, early before it gets too loud and crowded. But that place, it's pretty small, and the lines I keep seeing for these releases is I don't know.
People show up, man. People show up for those. I think I tried to go to barrel-aged coconut cuppa, but it was the day of FOBAB. So, you had to do this at 11 a.m., be at FOBAB by noon. And I just cruised by, and I'm like, dude, it's like 150 motherfuckers in line, man.
Yeah. But yeah, if you want to pick up some new Maplewood beers, head over there Thursday. I'm sure they'll have them on Friday too.
Right on.
Whew. I don't know. I didn't change the time, so I'm not sure where we're at.
Yeah, we got some.
This beer is 8.6%. So yeah, it's about 9%.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hadn't noticed.
Any other events people should be checking out?
Those are the big 2. Yeah. And we're off and running. It used to be festival season, but now I think it's just parties all year. There's so many breweries,
Yeah, it's sometimes quiet in January, February a little bit, and then
That's good.
once March happens.
So all bets are off.
Yeah.
It's the rest of the year.
Right, because it gets too cold, so just drink inside.
Yeah, drinking weather's a thing. You don't really want to go out. Even if you go out, you're like, this is cool, but I barely made it here because this weather sucks.
Cool. Any beer news?
A little bit, man. Cheers to Forbes. They did a really cool article. I think Revolution Don, who was formerly Revolution Don, they talked about predictions in beer.
Okay.
And he's in that article. And
That's right, yeah.
They were talking about, what they thought the trends would be. And people are predicting that, there's going to be some closures. That's the big prediction. There's going to be closures. And because people are going to be looking to fill tank space, you'll see a lot of collaborations with entities, like bars and organizations and, partnerships. You see a lot of that, Okay, but yeah, let's get into news, man. This is a funny one. Lawman and Eagles in the news. In 2019, they were the number 1 account in Illinois for Old Milwaukee beer. Yeah. And number 2 in America.
What?
Yeah. I didn't know that was a thing.
Are they the only place selling it?
I don't know, man. People drink, but Old Milwaukee's $1.
There?
Right. And you can get Henry McKenna and Old Milwaukee for $10. Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't know that Old Milwaukee was happening. I know that they said they put Buffalo Trace in their Old Fashioned.
Okay.
So they're the number 1 Buffalo Trace account in the city. I remember that.
That'd be a fun stop for the podcast. We were doing those bar things for a while.
Those were cool. I think we would just do them around here.
Yeah, but if we did some of those Longman and Eagle, the
Class.
Big Star kind of spots we talked about having good beer and also some other things that could be fun.
Classic Chicago beer stomps for sure. Speaking of that, when we talk about Beer Pass under glass.
After dark?
I'm either calling it Beer Pass under glass or Twitter after dark. Beer Pass after dark. I was thinking brewery deep dive on breweries.
Okay.
Right? And we were talking about Beguile and 2 Beguile beers, and then just kind of the whole episode about that brewery, in a way that you wouldn't necessarily do on the show.
Oh, that could be cool.
Right?
Yeah.
Maybe. We'll see.
And we got Chris Jacobson's Hardcore Craft Beer coming up too.
Yeah, we do. Dark Side number 8 already. So this is one of those that bridges the gap because in those cold months. This is February 23rd at Emporium, the original Emporium on Milwaukee, the one that has the cool arcade games. The other one's got a bunch of pinball games and shit and no drafts.
I don't know. Have you been to the mill? I live right by there, so I go by it all the time. Most of the games are gone. There are now 2 pool tables.
At the original one?
Yeah, a bunch of NBA pop and shot kind of things in there now. They there's way less games.
Let's hope that's a I don't know,
But we made
a temporary thing.
Chris Jacobson has been on many episodes of Chicago Beer Pass, so maybe we'll get him on for a Beer Pass After Dark to
And
talk
to
about
coincide with Dark
Dark
Side.
Side, because
That's
dark.
That's a good idea. This but the pre-sale for that is January 10th, which is in a couple days.
Yeah.
So $30 in advance, $40 at the door. So you get 8 samples, and then you get a bag full of tokens. And it's a celebration of dark beers. They always have some cool shit on. First beer to kick usually is always Four Hands, Madagascar. One of the Madagascar variants.
Okay.
Yeah. Half Acres in the news, man. They got cannabis merch for sale, man. You see this Half Acre shit?
I saw the picture and I was like, I saw another tweet about it and I was like, wait, what? And then I saw the picture. I was like, oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, man. They got grinders and lighters and like papers.
Yeah.
I like the matches because the matches got that little happy wizard on the matches. It's cool,
I
man.
guess. Who's using matches, right? That just seems like he's asking for trouble.
Let's see. Cheers to you want to hear about the top selling brands in 2019? Let's just talk about the $2 billion club.
Okay.
There's brands that did $2 billion in sales.
Are these, hold on, can I guess? Like, are they just a beer or like a
This is
Bud Light kind of thing?
right. No, beer. There's not 2 billion. Yeah, like a beer, not a brewery, like a beer brand.
So I would say Modelo.
Yeah, Modelo's at 2.1 billion.
And so it was at number 1 or number 2?
Number 5.
That was number 5.
Yeah, this is very close. Well, the 4 are close. Number 5 is the runaway number 1. It's always been number 1 in the country.
Well, it's got to be Bud Light.
It's Bud Light
Yeah.
at $5.3 billion.
Okay. Then you got Miller Lite, right?
Coors Light, number 2.
Coors Light.
But then right behind that, Michelob Light at number 3.
Okay. Is Michelob?
Michelob is a Bud. It's either Bud or Miller product.
I can't say I've.
Low calorie, man. This is the seltzer craze. Well, seltzers are selling more than all of craft beer combined, right?
Yeah.
But the seltzer craze kind of dives into this whole low calorie craze.
But Michelob's a weird.
Dude,
this has got to be a region thing, right?
I think it's the Soul Cycle,
No.
low calorie. It's got to be. It's the low calorie crowd. It's got to be, right? Because
you can't even find a Michelob in Chicago, right? I mean, you can probably buy it. Nobody's gonna have a tap handle at Michelob.
No, this is all packaging. I'm guessing.
So, where there's got to be like an area that is this southeastern or like there's a group, there's some people that are buying a lot of this or drinking more than everyone else.
Like it's the number 1 beer in some small town in Tennessee.
Georgia or yeah, right. And they're like, and then it like spreads out from there because I don't know like.
I've been around these other beers.
Yeah.
I've probably had these other beers this year.
And you may be like, yeah, just give me a Bud Light. Or give me a Miller Lite. Fine, that's fine.
Michelob Light.
Michelob Light.
Ultra.
Michelob, like any of those, yeah.
Michelob Ultra is the one on this list that I'm least likely to have.
And then number 4 is Miller Lite.
Number 5 is Modelo. That is your $2 billion club this year. That's insane, man. We forget what everybody else is doing. We totally forget, man.
I want to know who these Michelob drinkers are.
Yeah.
They are not my friends. So
Everybody.
Nobody has ever come up to me like, I know you like craft beer, but I drink Michelob. Like people have been like, I like Bud Light, or I'll drink a Bud. That's kind of like my house beer. Like nobody.
Bud Light, 5.3 billion. The coolest part about that trip to that farm with Goose and Idaho or wherever it was, they said that Brett Porter came in his first visit there, and demanded that they use all these Cascade hops. And then the farmer was like, he took all our Cascade hops from this year, and we almost didn't have enough to make Bud Light. And then we looked at each other like, there's Cascade hops in Bud Light? Like no one knows what's in these beers. It was funny. Oh, but yeah, that's the list. Cheers to Fishman's. They closed this week, or they closed since our last episode.
Right.
Yeah. Named after Jonas Fishman, who was an immigrant. He had landed here in 1913, opened his first store in 1915, which is now the current day Crown Liquors, right at I'm making lines. it's Diversity in Milwaukee. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, right there. I didn't know that.
No.
They ended up having 6 locations in total.
Damn.
Yeah, and then the Fishman's that closed obviously was one of them. But cheers to Fishman's. They had a good run.
Yeah.
A little bit more Chicago history. We talked about Irving, Old Irving, where you were. Old Irving, that used to be a bar called the Mayfair Inn. So one of their customers came in and showed them a picture. It was from his like great grandmother.
Yeah.
And
Of her like there or of the outside?
of the bar, because it opened on Christmas Day in 1940 as the Mayfair Inn, and the guys who run current day Old Irving never knew that it used to be a bar.
Okay.
That location, that exact same address.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Australia's on fire.
Literally.
Yeah, like, dude, and when you look at the map, it runs from like the equivalent of basically Scotland all the way down like to South London, South England, right?
Right. It's like isn't it like Maine to Florida kind of thing?
Wow.
Like
That's insane, man.
yeah.
That sucks, man. But yeah, I think Aussie hops are huge in America. Like Galaxy hops, Galaxy came from
and
Australia.
all these hazy IPAs we're drinking are like a lot of Australian hops.
Yeah, man. They all like Matuika, Galaxy is the big one. But then also
They need a Galaxy Hero to come. And
Enigma, you hear about that through guys like Hot Butcher. Oh, but then Vic's Secret, which is a popular Aussie hop. You know, clean passion fruit, pineapple flavors, light background.
wait, so these
Irving.
fires now affect me?
Is
Is that what you're saying?
You know, and apparently Australia has over 400 breweries. But Australia is a country and a continent, I think.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, but yeah, just wanted to say, hope they're doing all right, man. And
They are not doing well. And this
I hope things get better for them.
the fire brush fire season starts in February.
Also, brush fires are a thing. This is just like an abnormal one.
This
This is like the biggest one ever.
Right. In the world, and it's not even the season when they usually have fires, so they haven't even got to that season yet.
Sounds horrible.
So it could get worse.
Yeah. But yeah, man, a lot of like you said, a lot of these styles that we love, the hazy, juicy styles, a lot of those employ hops from Australia. So
I wonder if as a result we may see some of that go back to these West Coast IPA styles, or we're seeing like kind of this push to these low cal IPAs, which are really just pale ales that are less hopped.
low-cal IPAs, I love it,
are just low hop pale ales.
bro. It's a low-cal IPA, bro.
Solo.
So low. And then I think you were talking about one from like
Dogfish Head. That was I forget the name of it.
Solo phase is here, bro.
Yeah.
Bro.
Give me one of those sauce.
You know, I used to fuck with Michelob Ultra, bro, but this fucking Dogfish, bro.
These low IPAs.
Bro. One more bit of news. Cheers to Hop Leaf. They talked about all the beers they sold this year, right? With the close of the year. So they sold 15,000 pints of Three Floyds Zombie Dust. That was their top selling beer.
Yeah.
This is such a cool list. Number 2 selling beer, Spiteful Alley Time Pale Ale, 7,000 pints.
They got to be like the number one account. That's not the Spiteful Tap Room, right? They have to.
That's amazing. Number 3, Allagash White.
Okay.
Yeah. I'd have got this question wrong on the test, but that's cool.
That has to be Spiteful's like best account. Like.
Yeah. And you can walk to Spiteful from Hop Leaf. Right?
Oh, the Hop Leaf. Yeah. I was like thinking map room in my head.
You got the big eyeballs.
I was like, from the map room? No. Yeah, you could. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a walk. Like you're gonna need you'd stop at like
Empirical.
Empirical, yeah.
Yeah.
But
yeah, man. That's it. Specific news.
All right, then that does it for our first episode of 2020. Nick, where can people find you, get in touch when we're not here?
Right on, man. I'm on Twitter at Nicosio.
And I'm on Twitter at BRAD, Chicago Beer Pass on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. We're always putting up beer reviews. We got some Hailstorm beers. We got some kombucha from Sunshine or
June Shine.
To throw up there. So yeah, check that out. We probably have like a new series coming out that will do some comparisons as well.
Yeah, let's compare some beers, Brad.
Yeah.
Let's find out what the best value is out in these streets.
Right. Yeah. Which beer will get you drunk faster?
Yeah, man. Cheers to Lil Beaver, man. It's a dirty trick not putting ABV on this beer.
But we'll be back next week with another episode. Take care.
Cheers.